Hello and welcome to Writer Greg on Twitch.tv. So glad that you can make it. And today we have our special guest, Jessica Payne, the Operations Director of Kids Need to Read. Those of you who have been following along with me during the month of December have noticed that I have been saying the words kids need to read quite a bit. And thank you so much for all of the contributions that we have received so far. But there is still a lot of time left in the month of November. And coming up, November 30th, is the 24-hour charity stream that is supporting Kids Need to Read. And I'd like to welcome Jessica. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for arranging this event. It's new for us, and we're super excited.
Well, it's new for me too, and I am learning so much wonderful stuff. And I can't tell you how excited I was. Travis Hansen, who I believe that's his last name, designed the billboards of your cars, the wraps, the
Yes.
graphic wraps. And I saw that in Facebook, and I'm a fan of Travis's work. And I said, if Travis is involved, I need to look more into it. And I was so glad that I saw that Facebook post because I was then able to learn more about your organization, find you all, and learn about the great things that you are doing. So, with that, tell us and everyone watching, what is Kids Need to Read?
Well, very simply put, Kids Need to Read is a literacy organization that's just bent on giving books directly to kids. So, the way that we work is we work through other service organizations like schools, libraries, foster care programs, things like that. We work with them. We arrange to give them books so that they can then give them to the kids that they serve. This year, we haven't had quite so many events as we normally like to. We like to go to schools and just lay out books on the table and just say to the kids, here, pick out, each get 2 or 3 books and a highlights magazine. But we are so excited that we've actually been able to work with schools and libraries and figure out ways around to get books to kids safely because it's needed now even more than it ever has been before.
Yeah, I can see how much time that my own kids have at home, and what I would love to have them to read a highlights magazine or some books because there's just so much time on people's hands and not available to go anywhere. So this is really great that we're able to do this virtually and be able to help support Kids Need to Read around the country and even around the world virtually. So tell us a little bit about the history of Kids Need to Read. Where did it start? Where did it come from?
So, Kids Need to Read's roughly 13 years old now. It was started by our executive director, Denise Gary, and a group of friends. If I remember correctly, brown coats. They started as just a basic reading project, a group project that they wanted to do to just see how they can work locally to get books to kids. And after a year, they were going to end the project, and Denise said, "Whoa, wait a minute! There really is a need out there for people." And so she, with a few other people, worked together. They got a nonprofit status, and Kids Need to Read was formally born.
Wow.
And I came on about two, I guess a year and a half ago. So uh, as the operations director.
And what are some of the operations that you do for Kids Need to Read, and how is the money that is being donated, how does that help the kids directly?
Well, we have several different programs. Mostly, they all kind of fall into three categories. We have our Grow Your Library program, which is run by board members Gary and Tina Mlodzik. And what they do is they reach out across the country to libraries and they give books to the libraries to refresh or grow their children's section. Then they visit on their own time and do a story time and book giveaway at that time. And then finally, they have the third step of their program, they have kids actually write to a special email address about books, extra books that they would like to see in their library. And then they go, and Tina is really good at this. She researches and finds books that the library doesn't already have, and they donate a book in that child's name to the library. So, for instance, little Timmy writes and says he'd really like more books about puppies. And so Tina will go and find a puppy book that the library doesn't have. And on the inside, it'll say, this book is donated by Kids Need to Read and Timmy
Oh,
through the Grow Your
wonderful.
Library program. So that's one. Then we
Okay.
have a program called From Our Shelves to Yours, and that's the one I typically am doing the most on. And that is also nationwide. In fact, we're over 30 states so far for our fiscal year, which started in April. I'm really excited about that. I'm shooting for all 50 this year. But what I do is I reach out, and other people reach out to me, to our organization, and we just quite literally fill boxes and send boxes to different places across the country, different programs across the country, different schools, some libraries. It's just really amazing all the different local programs that are available in communities across the country, and that the different ideas that teachers and people come up with just to help to make sure that kids get access to books. And we are so grateful and excited about being able to help them get more books into the hands of children. And then
If I'm understanding you right, not only you help the children directly, but you help other organizations who help children to get the books that they need.
Right, that
Okay.
is correct. And then our third program, which is the one you were just talking about, is our Page Coach program, which is locally or basically within driving distance. Um, Mostly we serve all throughout Arizona, but we do a little bit in California, a little bit in Texas with it too. But we have our Page Coach, and we have the more local or statewide organizations contact us, and I load up the Page Coach, and we bring books to them. In the past, that meant that we were actually part of events. We were invited to be a part of events. But this year, just to keep everybody safe and to especially make sure that the kids are safe, it's been more of a load up, drop off, smile at everybody as we all wear our masks and stay 6 feet away. And then the teachers and the other people, they organize drive-through events. This summer, when we first had that whole thing where schools were shutting down really early, and we reached out to a lot of schools, like Tempe, Phoenix, and Mesa districts, and we just said, hey, let us give you some highlights and some puzzle books, and you can hand them out during your free and reduced lunch handouts that they've been doing. And it's just amazing. The kids are just so excited to see this, because a lot of people don't seem to realize that when schools shut down and libraries shut down, so many children lost access to any kind of books. They don't
Right.
necessarily have books at home. They can't afford the gas even to go to a bookstore, and they may not even be able to afford the gas to go to a drive-through to check out books from the library.
Right.
And then especially if you have multiple siblings in the house, even just reading a book online could take up bandwidth that may be needed for the parents' work or for the kids. So it's really hard for some of the children to access any kind of literature. So we are just so happy to have the books and the magazines that we can give, and to be able to have the opportunities to give these out to them.
So then this is the important call to action for everybody who is watching. How do we support Kids Need to Read after the charity stream is over? How can we continue our support?
Well, a good way to help with supporting us is, of course, through social media. Just liking us on Facebook, liking us on Instagram, and following us on Twitter or tweeting, or you'll have to forgive me, I'm not really social media savvy. Though that is, the smallest step. You can go and join in part of our newsletter so you can keep in touch. And if you're not a social media person like I'm obviously not, you can join our newsletter and get monthly updates on what we're doing. Um, we do have a charity wish list on Amazon. You can also have us as the beneficiary if you shop through Amazon Smile. A
Okay.
portion of whatever you purchase gets sent to us. And then if you have books that are in nearly new condition or brand new, and you'd like to send them to us, we would welcome them because like I said, we give across the country, and there's has not seen any lessening of a need for books. We serve ages 0 to 18, so the only thing I really ask is, just make sure you're sending me children's books and not bodice rippers. Don't necessarily want to have to explain to a child why that guy is tearing her shirt off. So
Yeah. So if Fabio is on the cover, it might not be good for kids need to read.
right,
Okay, sounds good.
right.
And you said that you do support other organizations out there directly who then help children. If there is an
Mm-hmm.
organization watching this and they would like to collaborate with Kids Need to Read, how would they contact you for that?
They can contact us through the website, or just going to writing me an email at info@kidsneedtoread.org. That's the easiest way to do it. If there are organizations that would like to apply for a donation, again, going through the website, our application opens up again in January. It does close periodically, a couple times during the year, mostly so I can get caught up. But that is pretty much the easiest way to do it. Is you can either call or email, and we can figure things out from there.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us on the twitch.tv Writer Greg channel. And I'll be placing this on YouTube. And it is so exciting to finally meet you and learn of all of the great things that you are doing at Kids Need to Read. Is there anything that you'd like to say at the end?
No, just thank you so much for all that you are doing to help childhood literacy, to help make sure that kids get to read. I really, really appreciate it because it's a very needful thing.
Well, thank you so much. And I will extend that thanks to everybody who is participating in the morning marches and in NaNoWriMo as we are working on our creative goals 10 minutes at a time, writing the books that could be read by the next generation. And who knows, maybe some of the books that we write as the Writer Greg community will someday be in the hands of one of these children, and they can learn how to read with some of our books, the clean ones, at least. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jessica. I really appreciate it. And with that, we'll sign off and have a great day.
You too.